Mikel Arteta just signed a 3 years contract at Arsenal. Now this contract will take him till 2027. Now guys, if you look at what Mikel Arteta have done at Arsenal in the past year, he was there. He became an Arsenal manager. I think December 2019. 2019. He has built and built and built. Now Arsenal are a top team. Do you think that he deserves this contract, John?
Yeah, I think Arteta has earned the right to be rewarded with a new bumper contract, longer years. Hopefully, he's going to stay even beyond the current ambits of this contract. Arteta came into the club at a time when there was still a lot of imbalance in the side. You talk about the eras of the big names at Arsenal, the likes of the Lacazette and the Aubameyangs and co, who weren't leading the club forward because we had some kind of mishap within the side, and he's just come in and brought people into the side that we wouldn't necessarily look at. You talk about the likes of Saka's introduction into the team, his revelation, his stance in the England national team now as a star man is based off his relationship with Arteta. Arteta gave him his big break in the team, and Arteta has given a couple of other players their big breaks into the Arsenal setup, and those players have moved on. Some of them have moved on to other clubs, some of them are still around, and Arteta has done very well. If you look at the record of Arsenal managers that have come to Arsenal, if you just compare his first 200 games against Wenger's, you see that he has more wins in his first 200 games against Wenger's record. If you look at his record side by side, other managers who have been at the club, you can see that he is a better manager on winning percentage. Okay, then if you now leave those data points, you look at how the team play, you see that he's restored an identity to the club, which is the way Arsenal play, the mentality, which is the most important thing. I'll never forget that season of all or nothing football when they took us behind the scenes of Arteta with the players, and that campaign when they were pushing for the title, and we could see the mentality. Arteta is crying over you having a duel one-on-one with a player, missing your duel. It's those little types of mentality where you want to micromanage and improve every little thing. That's where I think he's been a genius so far.
Okay, if you look at that contract now, so it's 3 years. He has been building. Everybody can see the progress, even though he has won 2 Community Shield and an FA Cup. Now, do you think that he is the right person to wrestle that league away from Pep? Because Pep is a general problem for everybody. Do you understand? He has been winning this league, so every team is trying to build to wrestle that league away from him. But looking at in total what Arteta has built at Arsenal, do you think he's the right person to keep taking this club forward?
For Arsenal, if they want to continue second place, then fine, he's the right person to take them
forward. Oh wow!
Yes, because look at it now. We said this about Gareth Southgate. If your best is not getting you trophies, look for another best. He has tried 4 years. Down the line, you get second place. Your first season, someone has already qualified through the rough stages of the FA Cup, and you come in and you win it against Chelsea. I think it was him against Frank Lampard, 2 amateur coaches at that time, which he edged over Frank Lampard and won it because Chelsea has already qualified for Europe, and it was just their last ticket. That was like the last ticket to qualify for Europe, like what happened to Man United last season. Their last ticket to qualify for Continentals, and they had to put their life on the line for that. Then they got in and they got the FA Cup and they qualified for Europa League the next season. If getting second, getting knocked out of the Champions League in the round of 16, finishing second in the group stages or in the Premier League, getting knocked out of the Champions League in the round of 16s or perhaps in the group stages, if that is their target, they should continue to build with Arteta.
Okay.
Let her go. Because I know that people would say, no, now he's done good, he's brought in talent. Forgetting that most of these talents were given the job, were given that opportunity to shine by the former coach.
Okay, yeah.
You get? They were given the opportunity to shine by the former coach who was there till they sacked him in December and Arteta took over. So if you say, and look at it now, after that, how many of those players have excelled or have been brought into the side like others? Many of them have been shipped out. The likes of Reece Nelson, Smith Rowe. These players, I think 2 seasons ago, these players actually saved him from getting sacked, and they brought him to the second because there were rumors about Arteta being sacked 2 seasons ago or 3 seasons ago, and these players put their life on the pitch and they got the results. These young players, so to say, got the result, and now you're shipping them out, and yet there's no input of young players into the side. So You say you want to build with young players, but yet we're not seeing any introduction of new young players aside for the ones we've been seeing for the past 3 years.
Okay, now let me stay with you now. So if you are saying that Arteta is not the right man for the job, who in this whole world you think a coach that will think that will come in and take that league away from Pep? Just give me one name. They will continue with Arteta. Just one name you think that when you come to take over any team in Premier, don't leave Arsenal. Any team, one coach that will just come in and wrestle that league away from Pep.
I think somebody did it with Chelsea. Conte
did it. I think the second year after. Okay, what?
His first season
at Chelsea.
Yes.
Then after
the Klopp did it.
Okay.
It took time.
After
4 years.
Okay.
It took
After 4 years. Sack Arteta and bring.
I'm not saying sack, but I'm saying if you want to continue finishing second.
Okay.
There are other smart coaches. This guy, nobody is seeing what he's doing now, but he's doing something. You get?
Who is
He's
that?
31-year-old Mark at Brighton.
Okay.
He's doing something. We're seeing it play. You're saying he has built. You can't be my assistant for years. You learn from my rule book, and you tell me you use that rule book to better pass me. While I'm not that I am retiring out of the job, but while I'm still at the job. You could see that the mentality. Look at everything he's trying to do. Though it's working, they could only work for a certain time and finish you second. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at some point stole those rule book. You get and finished, I think, second or third in the Premier League. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Look at it. When you steal that rule book, you copy what you want to copy. The person who get the book still on the job, he has the opportunity to expand. So whatever you steal is for you to copy from. I can still go back and expand.
But it's true that every coach learns from someone.
Every coach
nobody has
the
the original copy of whatever you want to do. You are copying from somebody. Even Pep Guardiola is copying from somebody. The only thing that Pep has perfected his own copy. Like
and has expanded. Yeah, but Arteta has not perfected it yet.
That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying
you can't start from the top to learn.
But if you look at the progress, for example, if you look at the progress that Arsenal has made, whether you like it or not, we could see that Arsenal, every team fears Arsenal to an extent now. Yes. Because if you look at how they set up against Arsenal, but if you look at, for example, now let's just compare with Man U. I know you don't do the comparison, but if you look at
let's go there. When
I go there, John will be angry. Will say this.
Let's go there.
You want to compare with Man U?
What I'm saying
yes.
That fine. Let's go there.
If, for example, all the problem I think that Man U have that is progress. If Man U fans or Man U both are seeing progress, everybody will not even bother Ten Hag. After the first year of Arteta, 6 months, if he finished 8th and finished 8th, the first season he challenged for the title, everybody could see the progress. He repeated it the second year, everybody could see the process. If he, I don't know for this year, if he even finished second, the third season, I think everybody will still allow him. But if you look at
try
this
having
progress,
31 injury cases in your team and expect progress in that side from the style of play.
Okay, that's different.
No, you want to drag that conversation.
What I'm saying is that okay, this season now, let's say that Man U will not have all that injury crisis. Let's look at it that way.
They will not have it.
Maybe they will not have it.
They've already started the season with 4.
Let's see. Look at Arsenal. Okay, look at Arsenal now.
At the end of
Arsenal
the day,
Arsenal started the season with 3.
Now look at now.
Moreno, you won't count Moreno because he wasn't in the side last season.
Now, what do you think about now?
They have three players off already. What's it called?
Odegaard,
yeah. And Rice. That's right. 2.
That's injury though.
Injury suspension. And suspension from the old players they had. You get from the starting lineup from last season. For Man United, from the starting lineup from last season, they already had 3. So these 2 teams are starting with 2 or 3 players off. Let's see how they progress in their next games, because the criticism is already raining heavy on Eric, but no criticism is raining heavy.
Why should it be heavy on Arteta?
Well, Arteta won his 2 games and drew 1.
Yeah,
this guy lost 2 games, so criticism has to be there.
Ten Hag first season, he lost his first 2 games. Where did he finish in the table?
The difference, you see, we can talk about Arteta and we can talk about Ten Hag all day long. The difference is there are 2 different drivers for this manager. Number 1 is Ten Hag struggling under the weight of expectations of Manchester United fan base because of their illustrious past. That's the main thing. If we took down a Manchester United away from the club and we gave them West Ham, everybody is sipping tea and happy with themselves. They are enjoying, they're having a fantastic blast life is good. In fact, they can lose 5 more games and they are not going to bother themselves.
So
They
Arteta has to
can,
move.
you understand me? So Ten Hag is laboring just because of that name, just because of the investment, just because of the players brought in, just because of the expectations. You understand me? So that excuse of winning trophy at the end of the season does not cover him again,
Proves
because
that he's a
it
born
does
winner.
not cover him
Tinker,
again.
tinker,
It
tinker,
does not
tinker,
cover
he
him
go win
again.
trophy.
Irrespective, it does not cover him
It
again.
only proves-
And at Arsenal
See,
now,
it
sorry,
only
excuse
proves
me.
that
At
he's a born winner.
At Arsenal now, Arteta has had a fantastic time at the club.
Uh-huh.
At the club, when he came in, nobody was expecting anything. He told them, look, this is where I have problem with 2 groups of people. The first kind of person is a what would I call him? Is a braggart, which is Eric Ten Hag. He came in, he said, "We'll conquer Europe. We'll do this one. We'll do this one.
Trophy.
We'll do this one.
He said
Collect
the
the
end
cup
of an
from
era,
City.
and he said
We'll collect the cup from City.
Remember,
We'll do this." Of all the things he has said, he has not delivered one. We have not seen play style. We have not seen progress. We have not seen development. We haven't seen any of these
John,
three.
declare, you
That's
have
it.
not seen
We
play
have
style.
not seen it.
We have seen it.
Then you
We
look
have
at
seen it.
Arteta.
You have not
Arteta,
seen
excuse
it.
me.
No, you
Arteta
have not
came
seen
in.
the play
Arteta,
style.
excuse
So,
me.
no, I'm just saying.
Please just
State for
excuse
yourself.
me.
Don't
I'm
generalize-
saying it categorically.
don't generalize your
we
opinion.
haven't seen either of these
Don't generalize
three.
your opinion.
We haven't
You-
seen it at
you
all.
as a
At
Man
all.
City fan have
Manchester
not
United
seen-
fans have
Okay.
not seen it.
Okay, John, wait.
But on the other side of the coin, you look at an Arteta. Arteta came in and said, "See, these guys, is a rebuild. Trust the process." The first season, things were going haywire. Problems with players, problems with big names at the club, everything. The fans were almost revolting against him. Trust the process. So far as he had the buy-in of the board ahead of him and the players below him, every other opinion is binary. That's the way I see it, and that's the way he operated. And trust the process. They played that first season, things went the way they did. They came back, he quietly bought key players he needed. They played another season. And before you know, you are seeing first season 8th position, second season 6th position, third season you are in second, fourth season you are in second. We are seeing the process play out before our eyes. Do you understand? We are seeing play pattern. We are seeing everything we need to see. We are seeing everything we need to see. What more are you asking for?
To finish second,
Papa didn't come
back.
to say, "I want to win Europe. I want to conquer the world."
See, my first season to win second back to back with one FA Cup in your first half month, because that was half season. Your first half season, you won the FA Cups. First season, 2 seasons back to back, second place. Now you're comparing that. I'm saying if you want to continue with second position, because there's this thing they call near success syndrome. It happened to Liverpool, it happened to Ajax. When they reached the semi-final or the semi-finals of the Champions League, at some point they started dropping off. Near success syndrome is a real thing. You finish second, it begins to tell on your player, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer finished second. You get? What was his criticism record like against Ten Hag's own Arteta?
Playing in a different club, you can't compare the two.
Understand this.
You can't compare. Manchester United fans demand silverware.
Understand this. Arteta is good. He's finished second. Next syndrome and real thing. What if this season comes in, because we're comparing him with Ten Hag season, who in his first season finished third, on the prospect that the coaches before him said something clear, and I'll repeat, that Man United need to do a total overhaul. And he came in with that total overhaul. He did not overhaul. He finished third, losing his first 2 games. This season, the next season, he finished 8th, won the FA Cup. This season now, he started the season losing first 2 games. First 2 of the 3 games, he lost 2 of them. And he's gotten the players he wanted. How are you sure he's not building? Because you're saying you're not seeing, don't generalize the opinion of, don't generalize the opinion of, we are not seeing the style. People are seeing the style. I could go on and dig in the style in different games.
Okay, we talk more of Ten Hag, but what I'm saying, even if you are going to see it the way you want to see it, if they actually trust that process, they wouldn't have waited 3 weeks to evaluate him.
Yes,
this
is valid point.
This is
valid point.
Not valid point. This is
it's
under
a valid
new management.
Point. Forget about.
I think the problem here is the way they started. In comparison with Arteta, what he has built, I think the difference is that Arteta came in and said they are going to build, and Arsenal board agreed. they are going to be. It's going to take time. I don't know how long time it is. Then offering him a new contract shows that they are willing to give him more than 5 years. That's different. But I think that the problem with Ten Hag is that I think he came in with more expectation from God was giving him more expectation to meet, and he gave himself an expectation that he didn't know. He didn't enter. He was outside and he was saying, "I'm going to take over." Probably when he entered inside, he found out that what he's seeing is not the same thing from outside as from inside.
This man has been there now. What's his name now? Angie. He's been there now for a year before he made the statement. And what he said, you remember what he said the last time now? I usually win stuffs. I usually win stuff in my second season, which means he's telling the Tottenham Hotspur fans that expect a trophy by the end of this season. Now, it's like you were saying off camera, it's too early to call Ten Hag's first 3 games. You already complain about the progress, the process, or the style of play. In Arteta's first 3 games as well, he got 2 wins, 1 draw.
Yes.
Drawing against Brighton. Remember, against Brighton in Ten Hag's first season, he lost. He lost against Brighton and against Brentford by heavy goal margins. You understand? These are 2 coaches, 2 different styles of play. We are seeing it, but we are not saying this is the style, because what we see in Ten Hag's style opens up the defense to counter-attack, to pressure, opens up the defense to plenty of error. Because you see them load 7 players up front.
And whose fault is that, for crying out loud?
You're not seeing the style of play. I'm just telling you now, this is the style of play. They build from the back, gradually progress fast and with the ball. But when they progress, they open up the defense. And that was the defensive line that Liverpool has exploited in recent years. 7-0 win. In recent one, the most recent one is the 3-0 win. And he was trying to cover that after the 7-0 win. That was why he manageably got a win ahead of Liverpool. But in Arteta's side, you saw that he came in and he said, fine, from the front line, they were getting goals. But I think ego problems set in. They needed to get all those big names out. Then he started from scratch to build, which means started from the defense. If you notice, the second season he finished 6th on the table. The defense was solid. You get, he was building from there. He brought in the likes of, many defenders and Ramsdale, and they were keeping good defensive record until they got to the midfield and they made the perfect mix in midfield. And now in the third season, they recently got Declan Rice. Look at it now. They were progressing. Let's build from the back. From the back, we'll build to the middle. From the middle, we'll build to the attack. And now you see that they build the solid. They still brought in this summer. This just completed transfer window. They still brought in a Mikel Moreno, a midfielder. When everybody was shouting, get a striker in, get a striker in. The Arteta was getting a striker in, but instead he got in a midfielder, got in another winger in person of Sterling. Now, this is somebody who says he wants to build gradually. Now, how patient is the fan base? Would they wait 7 years without touching a trophy?
Well, if you look at, generally, if you look at the way Arsenal fan is behaving, I think they are going to, if he's going to take, as far as Pep is there, as far as Pep is there, because problem here, whoever we talk from beginning to now, Pep is the problem for everybody.
Simple.
Because Man U are talking about will not win the league against Pep.
That's one.
There are other top
That's
positions.
one.
Let me tell you why Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now didn't have much of the pressure on him on the leagues, because every time he played in the Continentals, he got to the finals. 3 years on the job, 7 different finals. Now, he didn't win any of them, but 3 years on the job, 7 or 8 different finals. Europa League final, FA Cup final, Carabao Cup final. Europa League final was 2 times. Semi-finals, he was always getting to the semi-finals, finals. You get Ten Hag now. Why the thing is like that? Because I don't know the charm Ole Gunnar Solskjaer used, because he was a legend for the club. But Eric came in from Netherlands with high pressure how would I put it now? With high demand that I am going to win trophy, because where I came from, I've always won trophies. And he came in the first season, though it didn't work out the way he wanted, but he got the Carabao Cup. Next season, he got an FA Cup after finishing 8th on the table, which means after he finished in that position, there was no hope of him qualifying for the Continentals. Now he finished and he got into the FA Cup or into the UEFA Europa League through winning the FA Cup. Now he's in the Continentals now. This season we'll have to judge. What if he plays this season in the Europa League and doesn't get to the finals? So you see that's what I'm saying. The season is still long.
The problem is that it's not about being long. The problem is that everybody chasing Manchester City. They have 9 points.
They have 9 points. Liverpool has 9 points.
Arsenal fans are already angry because they are 2 points behind City. 2 points is like a big gap.
Big
when you
margin.
talk about City. Now you are not talking about Ten Hag that is 6 points, which is a bigger gap. So I think the problem with all these things, I think the problem with all these things also is that I understand where you are coming from. Do you understand? But if you are a fan, for an example, what would you prefer? Just a straight question. What would you prefer? You see your team challenge for the league all the time.
Yes.
Even though, for example, Liverpool did it for like 6 years. He got one. It's not easy with Pep. We understand. Everybody, I mean, I'm saying it personally. I'm saying on camera. The day Pep will leave England, I will throw party for everybody. Make everybody come drink party. Because Klopp tried and he lost energy. So everybody, there's a general problem for everybody. What I'm saying that, but for Arteta to build to an extent that they can push City to the final, almost the last 2 games of the season, I think it's progress for Arsenal. Do Arsenal fans see?
No doubt.
For
And
Arsenal
then,
fans,
no doubt.
then I don't have a problem with Arsenal fans settling that.
I think going from 7 years behind, what they have gone through, Arsenal is willing to wait.
Okay.
Even though that you're talking about Manchester United, they are going through that process, but they are not willing. The problem is that
They are impatient. They don't want to wait.
When Arsenal, now I'm going to throw this question to Arsenal fans. They should go into the comment section and answer. I'll be reading the comment next time on the show in the next episode. When Unai Emery conquered Europe, he conquered Europe for about, I think, 4 years, winning 3 straight back-to-back Europa League. Went all the way to different clubs. Went to Sevilla, won it. You get? Went to different. I think he has 4 Europa League titles to his name. Now, after winning, and he came to Arsenal, were they this patient with him?
No, I think different ownership there. I thought that's just different. Now that's what I'm saying.
So
most times the expectation is different.
Different ownership.
The expectation is different.
So the ownership might be having like this is something that happens with Man United. Different ownership now.
Okay, let me ask you. Even though we are talking about Arteta, you think that if Ten Hag finishes outside top 4, they will still retain the job? Just what do you think as a pundit, as a professional pundit? If you look at their professional pundit, just if you think if he uses he doesn't qualify for top 4, do you think he will keep his job?
For top 4, if he doesn't qualify for top 4, you look at the criteria in which he doesn't qualify for top 4.
Just a straight up answer.
As a fan,
come on, man.
As a fan, I'm not in this case. I'm not a Man U fan. I am not a pundit that will decide if he stays on the job or not.
I understand that.
As a fan, if I was a Man U fan and he didn't get into top 4, I wouldn't be happy with him.
Okay,
it's as simple as that.
Let me ask you, John. Now, Arteta has signed this contract. Obviously, last time we're going to stay patient with him. What do you think he's going to win? Do you think he can win the league, the Champions League, or the FA Cup within these 3 years?
See, I've always said it, and I'll continue to say it, that when you look at Arteta and his time at Arsenal, you have to give this man his flowers, because nobody expected within a decade to be chasing City back to back for the title. Nobody expected it. That's the truth. Nobody expected it, because this was something that you know how you support a club, you're following a club, and they bring in a young manager. First in place, nobody wanted him in. They were like, why are they bringing a young manager, blah 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 blah, all this chatter from the fans. You bring him in, he brings in young players. We are like, what are we doing here? Sign big names, look at Arteta signing over 5 seasons at the club. He spent less than 1 billion. If you look at his first 3 seasons, he didn't spend above 100 million. Do you understand it? And with those same team, he finished second in the league. And seeing that the board brought the backing. So, I believe in meritocracy in football, which is you do your job, you deliver your result, you deliver your polling units, and you get a blessing. You continue and you deliver, you keep accelerating. So for me, I think at Arsenal are in for a title this season. It could be all the cards on the table. All cards on the table. This is
the same John that shouts 5
all
in a row.
Cards on the table.
He's not saying Arsenal. This is the same John that is
shouting. I'm saying that all cards are on the table.
This is the same John that is shouting.
There are still
5
games.
in a row, 5 in a row. Now he's saying Arsenal.
There are games to be played, so all cards on the table. Till we get to January and they're out of the FA Cup.
Now you've agreed with me that
or we get to January and they're out of the Carabao.
You see that now that
all cards on the table.
He's agreed with me that the season is long to judge from the first 3 games that these players or these coaches are not getting their jobs right.
I'm saying that they are winning a trophy this season. That's what I'm saying.
Generally,
to say which one now, all cards are still on the table.
The problem with Arteta and Ten Hag, the difference is that everybody is chasing, as I said, everybody is chasing City. 2 points for Arsenal is a big point for Arsenal. To cover that 2 points is already a big thing for Arsenal, even though it's a long season, but we know. For Manchester United, 6 points is even a bigger cap. That's my own issue. But let's see what Arteta is going to be doing this season. He has signed a contract for 3 years, and I think Arsenal will stay patient with him. So disagrees that he is born to finish second, but everybody is chasing Pep. Everybody have to manage Pep until Pep leaves. And I keep saying it, when Pep leaves, we'll pop champagne. But until then, everybody, Slot, Arteta, even Ten Hag, everybody will try as much as possible to win that league against Pep. Congratulations to Arteta for his job well done. He has probably tried very well for him then to renew him for a new contract. Let's see what he's going to do in this season and subsequent seasons to come. See you guys next time.